Great. So there are a few people who will be a little late. So now I'd like to invite first Karen Bagay from Brisk Business.
Thanks a lot, Joanna. Karan
Hello.
Bagay from Brisk Business. I'm one of the partners here. My prior experience was in investment banking, more focused on infrastructure sector. We're Amsterdam based. We launched our services last year in January. One of our first clients were Fastnet. We help them with the retail bond issuance, and we work with more startups and scale-ups with their investor readiness, aligning their equity story, and we help them with their strategic growth.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Karen. Welcome.
Thanks.
Next, I would like to invite Henrik Andersen from DTU Technical University of Denmark.
Hi, I'm Henrik Andersen. I work at DTU with water treatment technology, and I also have my own startup that works with water analyzers as contract analyzers.
Great. Thank you, Henrik. Next, I'd like to invite Manuela Pavan from IGC.
Oh, yes, thank you, Johanna. Hello, everyone. I'm Manuela Pavan. There is a little mistake. My company now is FI Group. I explain shortly. Yeah, don't worry, Johanna, don't worry. FI Group is the largest European consultancy company on tax incentives related to innovation for research and development. And the company provides a tailor-made solution for startups, SMEs, large companies. And from my side, I'm very happy to be here today. I hope that I can help you to have a beautiful pitch. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Manuela. Welcome to you as well. Next, I'd like to invite Britta Lange from Outokumpu.
Yes, hello, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Britta Lange. I work with the Finnish stainless steel company Outokumpu. Before that, I have accumulated 25 plus years of communication experience. So this is what I in particular will be looking out for today. If all your messages come across strongly enough. Previously, I have also been coaching startups and scale-ups in my previous position for the company Global Entrepreneurship Center. And at this moment in time, I'm also coaching startups in 2 incubation programs in Berlin, the Applied Data Incubator and Vision Health Pioneers for the company Startup Colors. So please feel free to be a good communicator today.
Thank you very much, Britta. And last but not least, I would like to invite Matthew Somek from Somek Advisor.
Hi, everybody. My name is indeed Matthew Somek. The company is not Somek Advisor, but that's okay for me.
It has your name, right?
Yes, it was the easiest solution. No, I am an entrepreneur. First, I launched a company in the fiber laser business. It was more than 15 years ago. And for the last 15 years, I spend my time advising entrepreneurs and launching startup accelerators for academics organization as well as corporate organization. And for the last 2 years, I am focusing on launching accelerator for small and mid-sized businesses as well as corporate venture capital. So I am happy to be here with you and to help the founders we have with us.
Great, thank you very much, Matthew. Pardon us for this mistake. I will check internally whether we have it right in our system. And yes, thank you very much, our dear coaches. Did I miss anyone? I don't think so. All right, and now it's time for the companies. The first one that we have, and I would be happy to invite on our virtual stage, is Alexander from Sour Dew. Hi, Alex.
Oh.
Hello there. I'll stop sharing my screen, and you have 1 minute to do your elevator pitch. Then we'll have 2 minutes for the feedback and recommendations from the coaches, and then we'll start with the 7-minute pitch. Once you're ready, just give me a sign.
Ready? So good afternoon, everyone. So we all know drinking water is a global problem, But water scarcity is making that a lot more complex. And as a result, many of our water sources are becoming increasingly saline and more contaminated. In 2030, we expect more than 300 million people in rural areas to have no good solutions for their drinking water. My name is Alexander van der Klei, and I'm the CEO of SolarDo. And that is why we have developed a unique solar desalination technology. Our product may look like a solar panel, but instead of producing electricity, we're producing clean drinking water from, for example, seawater through a process of membrane distillation. It's extremely simple, robust, and affordable. Our strategy in the coming years is focused on working together with local partners in stepping stone countries where there's a recognized problem, a stable business environment, and a strong paying capacity. Countries like Chile, Greece, and Kenya. We currently have 2 LOIs with 2 partners there. Overall, we're looking for an investment of 5.7 million, of which 3.5 million has already been committed, and partly in the form of the EIC Accelerator. We're using it to set up production, carry out projects for our launching customers, and subsequently scale up. We are looking for impact investors with experience, knowledge, network, but most importantly, enthusiasm to join us to provide more than 1 million people with clean drinking water by 2030.
Great. Thank you, Alex. Your time was 1 minute and 14 seconds.
1 minute 14. Okay.
But which is good. It's good. just a little above 1 minute. All right, dear coaches, now it's your turn. Rita.
Congratulations, Alex, for your pitch. So I think you pretty much provided a lot of information. So we know where you come from, and we also clearly heard your quest. I do think you should reduce the amount of information presented because you were speaking far too fast. Remember that there will always be non-native speakers in the room, non-native investors, and it is difficult to follow the amount of information. So I do believe in particular in the end, what you're looking for in terms of investment, you can cut down on the style of investors. There's still room in the longer pitch to do so, but also I think you can cut down a little bit in the framing in the beginning on the market, but please give a little bit more information on your unique technology. And there you were talking so fast that it slipped through what it actually was. So focus on presenting the technology solution.
Thank you, Brita.
This would be my recap. Sorry, it was so much.
Oh, that was great. Anyone else? Brita covered everything. Manuela not. Okay, she agrees. All right, if there are no more comments from the coaches, Alex, you can start sharing your screen. And dear coaches, please write your questions and recommendations in the chat.
1 second.
Yeah, of course.
All right, everything is clear?
Yes, we see it full screen. Super.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Well, good afternoon, everyone, again. Hold on. Sorry, there's something. Now it's working. So every day, more and more families and communities lack access to clean drinking water. And this lack of clean drinking water affects 2 billion people worldwide and kills 1 million people each year. And most of this is happening in rural areas. And it's not just in developing countries. This is an example in Greece, where people are getting drinking water by truck. Now, what is making this more complex is the fact of water scarcity. More and more of our water sources are becoming increasingly saline and contaminated. And although there are solutions, these solutions work very well at a large scale, but they're very often too complex and expensive to operate and maintain on a smaller scale. So with increasing scarcity, there's an urgent need for small-scale desalination solutions. My name is Alexander van der Klei. I'm an industrial designer from a background, and I've been working for SolarDo for many years, starting off with developing the membranes and the materials that form the basis of our technology, and over the last couple of years, focusing much more on the business development and also the fundraising side as the CEO of the company. Of course, I haven't done this alone. We've greatly expanded the team over the last year with the most recent investment to 9 employees and 7 advisors, who are all experts in the fields of either water technology, product, and business development, including in developing countries. And our goal, or our vision, is that water is life. Our products are set to empower people to live happier, healthier, and more sustainable lives, providing them with their own source of clean drinking water. And our goal is to reach 1 million people by 2030. In order to achieve that, we started off at a very early stage with three most important points. First of all, it's about the water. It has to be high quality. It has to be tasty. People are not necessarily looking for a new product, but if you are offering them a product, well, then it has to be very simple. It has to be robust, and it has to be affordable. And finally, it has to be an opportunity, not only for ourselves, but for local entrepreneurs to grow sustainable businesses and to ensure that these solutions create impact in the long term. And for this, we've developed what we think is the most effective point of use desalination solution, something that we call water stations that can produce anywhere between 100 to 5,000 liters per day. They're modular, very similar to solar panels, so you can combine them to get actually any production that you need. But unlike solar panels, we don't produce electricity. We produce clean drinking water through a process of membrane distillation. So that's basically heating water using the sun, evaporating it through a membrane, and then condensating it on the other side. For this, we've developed this proprietary membrane, and we've integrated that into what we call a water purification bag. And what makes this unique is that we can manufacture this water purification bag using technologies from the packaging industry to create scale, produce a product which is high quality, but at a low cost. So inside one of these modules, you see the water purification bag. And that's actually what it is, a water purification bag, a metal housing, and a glass cover. What makes it unique is that we can produce high quality drinking water from, for example, saline water in a single step for a low water price of less than 3 euro cents per liter, easy to use and service, and very robust because we're not using any high pressure pumps. We're not using any electrical parts. We're currently finalizing the 2 patents who will be filed next month. If you compare it to bottled water, well, bottled water is obviously more expensive and less sustainable. But if you compare it to transported water, what is happening in many places around the world, well, there the water quality is not guaranteed, nor is the delivery guaranteed, and that creates a lot of stress, both physical as mental stress. If you compare it to other technologies that are currently being developed, there are air-to-water technologies, but these are and remain expensive. And on the other side, you have reverse osmosis, which works well at a large scale, but is very complex and difficult to maintain. So if your high-pressure pump breaks down in an off-grid situation, and you don't have the expertise, you don't have the tools, you don't have the supply chain, then the whole system is down for foreseeable future. Our systems are modular, so if one panel fails, then the other 99 are still working. We're focusing on the point of use desalination market, and that's set to grow to 330 million people by 2030, which is a growth rate of around 10%. We'll be focusing initially on what we call stepping stone markets, countries with a good business climate, high paying capacity, countries like Australia, Chile, Greece. We'll there also be focusing on B2B and B2G clients because we want to make sure in the early stages that we have large unit sales, but it's only a select group of customers, so which we can give our full attention to. We currently are doing 2 pilots, one in Greece and one in Guinea, and we're furthermore preparing 3 more in Australia, Chile, and Kenya. We will generate our revenue by selling our products ultimately to our local partners. That means that we're in charge of the manufacturing and supply chain, the international marketing and sales, the future product development, and most importantly, the support of our commercial partners. What we aim to do is create a blueprint together with our current partners so that the whole model about selling our systems is scalable across many different countries. They'll be in charge of the regional marketing and sales, the distribution and installation, customer service and after sales support, and in the future, even local production. We currently have 1 Kenyan partner, and secondly, we're signing 2 more LOIs, 1 in Chile and 1 in Australia. While growing the current business, we're expecting to be break even in 2027, and by 2028 have manufactured more than 200,000 modules. This is what we're working towards, and that's why we raised 1 million in 2023 and looking to raise 5.7 million in growth capital for the upcoming 2 rounds. They're split in 2, one of 2.5 million and one of 3.2 million. One to invest in the tooling and equipment to manufacture a larger number of modules and install them in large demonstration projects, and subsequently in the next phase to scale up production further and to focus on setting up 15 to 20 projects in different stepping stone markets. Of the 3.3 million already committed, we have 2.4 million gap, 800K in the first phase and 1.6 million. And as I mentioned in my earlier pitch, we received the EIC Accelerator last year, which covers a part of the financing, both in grant money and equity money. So what we're looking for are impact-driven investors with not only necessary experience, knowledge, network, but most importantly, enthusiasm to create a thriving business on one of our most impactful applications, which is clean drinking water, so that we can make sure that these scenes are a thing of the past. Thank you very much.
Okay, Alex, your time was 6 minutes and 46 seconds. Oh, that was great. All right, dear coaches, we've got a first question from Britta.
So yes, I'm not sure if you mentioned where you're setting up your production.
Don't mention the production will be set up in Europe, more specifically the Netherlands and Germany.
Thank you very much. And is that, I mean, why do you not dare to set up production anywhere else where it could be less labor cost intensive?
For a couple of reasons. First of all, the specific production lines that exist are not available all over the world. It's taken quite a lot of time to find let's say, the supply chain and the partners with which we work together for many years, and link them all together. And it's very important when you have a new technology to have the production very close to home first, and then at a later stage you can always transfer production somewhere else.
Thank you. This convinces me very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Britta. Manuela.
Yes, thank you, Alexandra, for your presentation. I have a suggestion about the information of your development of the solution, because you split the information in many slides, and I think it is better to insert in one slide a timeline where you are prototype and where you are going, to be clear for us that are listening many contents together.
And just from my understanding, yeah, the timeline you want as a replacement for the phases I explained in the investment part?
I mean timeline of the development of the solution, because if you can show the slide.
Okay, so basically the history of the company.
Yeah, the history of the company, where you are now and where are you going, and you know, you can insert some information because it's more clear, I think.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Manuela. Matthew?
Yes, excuse me. Yes, thank you very much for the great presentation. Can you tell us a bit more about your the competitive advantage you have with your solution, and where that competitive advantage is coming from by a technical point of view?
The competitive advantage is on a number of different levels. First of all, it's related to the simplicity of the system. So we are not using any electrical components. We're not using any high pressure systems. So it's just gravity fed and solar power. This makes it very easy to use. The second thing that makes it also very easy to use is that the water purification bag is almost like a, I would say, printer cartridge. So that means that even if people are not highly skilled, do not have tools, or are not familiar with any water purification technology, it's very easy for them to replace it, because it's just removing the two connectors, taking out the water purification bag, installing the new connectors. They're color-coded, they're different sizes, so it makes it very easy to install. And I think that's a very important advantage, because what is underestimated very often in these applications is the cost of downtime.
Okay.
Thank you, Matthew. We've got one more comment from Britta.
On the supply chain, which parts do you purchase, and do those come from critical markets, and which modules of the entire system have you engineered and patented yourselves?
We patented the water purification bag and the design of the system ourselves. Yeah. We work actually with in many cases with different production partners. We've also created redundancy, so we have also the alternatives there. But the idea is, and that makes it scalable, is to make use of these production lines using packaging, which sometimes costs 2-3 million euros. Yeah, and we're only using it for a day or two. Yeah, but it's basically leveraging that type of production technology in order to make something low cost, which is applicable. So, and yeah, that has taken time to bring together, but it's a very essential part of the whole idea.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Britta. Henrik?
What does one of these units cost, and how much water does it make? Like cost of production?
Sure. So we're looking at 3 to 4 liters per day for one unit. Yeah. One unit is 0.3 by 1.8 meters approximately. So that's exactly what one person needs in terms of clean drinking water plus water for cooking. In terms of what this will cost, initially will be around 160 euros FOB, but as we scale, that can go down below 100.
Okay, but there are some expensive part. It cannot be 20. It looks like all plastic.
Yes, except what you everything can be cheaper, except you always have to take into account the lifetime. Sometimes, and one of the things that happen is that people try to make things cheaper, but then the lifetime is short, and then the net cost of water per liter is actually much higher. So we think we found the right balance with the module and the replaceable water purification bag.
Yeah, but like if you need certain polymers of a higher quality, so there is a limit. It's not so much below 100, even when you are producing a lot, because of the plastic just as a cost per kilo.
These are low cost polymers. We're not using any expensive polymers for this product.
Okay, Henrik, do we have any other comments? Recommendations or questions? All right.
Actually, there's one recommendation. I worked a lot in developing countries with this problem with the salty groundwater. I think it's important to have maybe in that there's many supply issues with safe drinking water, but then there's the one that comes from salt, maybe heavy metals, but especially just that it's salty. There's only membrane and distillation that can solve that. For the other things, there's many things. And there's not so many small things. I think you're unique there, and maybe you don't mention it's the salt water you can solve that is otherwise unsolvable.
Okay, I'll try to highlight that better. Maybe the use of saline water is not as catchy. Maybe I should use seawater instead.
No, saline is fine because this saline groundwater that is a lot in large areas in developing countries, very difficult to work with. Like if it's bacteria or the water has some organics, we have many techniques we can do locally, but salt water, there's nothing we can do with simple technique. It needs a high level of technique, and then it needs to be simple like you have.
Agreed. Maybe if I may, one question, if there are no other questions for me, what would anybody leave out? That's always the tricky part. Okay, I think it's clear. For the moment, nothing.
Okay, and I see, Britta, you've got a few more comments regarding the presentation itself. And
I think you're a very strong and empathetic speaker when you present, and you know your story very well, and you are very strong in the Q&A. So please do not read out. I think it's tempting when you present on screens digitally to read some of the information. At least it appeared as if you were reading. Don't do that, because I know you know your story, but you need to slow down substantially, so that people can follow you in those 7 minutes. But if you slow down, then you will end up having too many slides. So you will need to reduce somewhere a bit, and I think it's in the introduction.
Thank you.
But I would be listening to you 15 minutes and to even more slides. But unfortunately, you will often only have 5 or 6 minutes.
No, that's clear. I'll see what I can do on the introduction.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, dear coaches. Thank you very much, Alex, for the presentation.
And thank you for letting me to go first.
Of course, no problem.
I'll jump back in about 5 minutes.
No problem. See you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you too. All right. And our next presenter is Jan Eus from IP. Hello, Jan.
Hi. Hello. Sorry. Took me a little bit by surprise. I'm sorry.
Sorry. All right. It's your turn to present. We'll start with the elevator pitch first, 1 minute, and then we'll continue with 7 minutes.
All right, great.
Once you're ready, just give me a sign. Go.
Okay, I'm ready. So my name is Jan van der Elst, and I'm the co-founder of IP. We're a Belgian-based water tech company with the aim to set a new global standard in sustainable, smart sanitary ware, with a positive impact on water saving and operational excellence. What we offer is unique selling propositions already today in a standalone product, but even more in a connected version that we are developing, with a focus on 3 verticals: high traffic locations, leisure, and hospitality and offices. So compared to industry standards of sanitary ware, we make the difference as we measure the use of a toilet instead of the presence of the user. And now we're looking for investors to support us to scale our business in Europe and the United States.
Jan, your time was 42 seconds. So very short. All right, great. Dear coaches, your turn. Manuela.
Yes, well, thank you, Jan. Let me say that you explained very well the solution and also the target. And I think that if you have more second to add, what is the sum that you need here? You are here to asking, we are here to asking for 1 million, 2 million, I don't know. But it was good. For me, it was good. It was clear, calm, well explained. Thank you.
Thank you, Manuela.
Yes, and I think that you engage the people that are listening to you by having everybody agreeing with you on the problem you are addressing. So indeed, you could have speak a bit more. So take that time to speak about the problem to start your pitch. I think it would be good to have a bit more about the problem you are facing and the need you are addressing.
Thank you, Matthew. Anyone else from the coaches? All right, if we don't have more comments, Jan, you can start with the 7-minute pitch.
First,
If you can go full screen.
yeah, sure. I'm sorry. So good afternoon, everyone. Probably this morning you didn't give much thoughts on a product, on how your toilet works. So it's a product which has a user base larger than Instagram and TikTok combined, and it's used by all of us multiple times a day. However, it hasn't changed much over the last years, and we're about to change that. My name is Jan van der Elst, and I'm co-founder of IP, and happy to pitch you this Belgian-based company. So the challenge...
It's not on full screen, sorry.
Sorry, it's not?
It's not full screen, no.
At least with me this. I'm so sorry.
No problem. Take your time. It's loading. Yes.
Is it better?
Yeah. Yes. Well, please, good.
Okay. So I'm sorry. So I'm skipping to my next slide. I'm so sorry for this inconvenience. So the challenge is immense, as the amount of water flushed a day through toilets is massive, and at the same time we do a lot of efforts to hold water that we have and to maintain it as long as possible. So here we have an example in Los Angeles where they put these balls on the lakes to save the water, but meanwhile at the airport of Los Angeles, this is a situation. You have toilets that flush multiple times when you use it, which is actually a shame and a pity. And this is the evolution of the sector. So it's a very poor evolution, and the sector is characterized by a certain degree of conservatism, and all players are trapped in a tight market of commodities competing only on price. IP is about to disrupt this market, as we have developed the only technology in the world that measures the use. Oops, I'm so sorry. That measures the use of a toilet instead of the presence of a person. We do that by measuring through the ceramics, so we don't have any contact with the fluids or the fishes, and we measure through non-conductive materials the use of the toilets. On the visual on the slide, you can see how it works. So the sensors are hidden behind the wall or behind the ceramics, and they sense the use of the toilet and then activate the flushing mechanism in order to save water. This data, so based on the data. As a result, we save up to 60% of water while maintaining the same standards of efficiency and operational excellence. As we are focused on the technology itself, we have developed it in such a way that it can fit on existing product ranges of established players, and we only focus on the technology. As such, we can provide an ROI which is double that of solar panels. Currently, our focus is on specific markets such as airports, leisure, and hospitality and offices. In some cases, in Belgium and Singapore, we have proven a water saving of up to 60%, depending on the typology of the building, and a payback time of around 2 years. These are the first toilets we can call with a positive ROI. In the future, other products and services will be launched, always with a link to the unique data we retrieve out of the ceramics. IP's strategy is to start in selected markets like Belgium and Singapore, where we validate the technology and the product market fit. As such, we actually de-risk the offering towards OEMs, which we want to use to scale our business. This approach allows us to enter in the second phase to go through a scale up globally by leveraging on the market power of those manufacturers. Even though they're not used to do or to work on innovation, they have a very strong distribution network. But by integrating IP's technology, they can actually move away from competing in a commodity market only on price to an offering based on value in targeted segments. As of today, we have actually first partnerships launched in Europe with some important players, where we actually integrate our technology into their product ranges and develop mutually a go-to-market strategy for each of their respective markets. To get the launch successful, we have hired key account managers for the UK and Germany to support the manufacturers and develop the market demands, and showed how it's done to the OEMs. Currently, our international sales pipeline represents a total of 10 million euros for the first 3 years. In the United States, we are developing a partnership with a local player which has a very strong position in the market, and it provides us with access to the largest single market for automatic flush toilets in the world. This is a partnership we're working currently and is about to be launched in the next few weeks. IP. So these are the milestones. Apart from the hire of international account managers, we want to develop the industrialization, or we want to continue in industrialization of our products to improve our gross margin with 25% on toilets, but also strengthening the organization from a quality control perspective. And as a fourth pillar, we want to develop or we want to continue the engineering on a retrofit solution and an IoT offering. The goals we want to achieve is a growth of to 2 million euros this year in revenue, and to grow even further to 30 million by 2028 by scaling through OEMs and by leveraging on the volumes through their distribution channels at a high gross margin. IP is headed by a dedicated team of people with a strong background in the sanitary industry. Apart from the founders, IP has attracted experienced people with a deep understanding of technology and market industry, both from a manufacturing and distribution perspective. The whole team consists of 20 persons, from engineering over production to sales and marketing. To continue our growth and development, we are looking for 4 million euros in equity to cover a 24-month run rate towards profitability. The proceeds will mainly be used for sales and marketing towards OEMs, strengthening our organization and the industrialization of our production, and finally continuing our R&D efforts. We believe our business case is strong, supported by patent-protected IP, also in the United States, and robust margins that we can maintain or even improve as we scale. So probably next time when you're using a toilet, you will be thinking of us and of the water waste we can actually save, or we can actually or we can move away from water. This is efficiency. So I'm happy to continue the conversation. So let's meet, and thank you very much for your attention.
Very much, Jan. Your time was 7 minutes and 29 seconds.
Okay. Sorry for the inconvenience.
But it's okay. No problem. It happens. It's technology.
Yeah.
All right, Britta.
Yeah, you're mentioning that you have 58% gross margin.
Yes.
I understand per unit. How is that going to evolve over time?
We think it's going to evolve positively. Why? Because we're still at the beginning of design for manufacturing. So the product we have today, it's already fine, but it's not developed in such a way that it's easy to assemble. And we are working on this project right now to optimize both supply chain and design in a way that we can make it much easier and cheaper to make and to maintain our high gross margin while offering a broader range of products and finishes.
Okay. I was also positively surprised by the turnover you're reporting already, and by the forecast you're giving for 2027. For me, somehow, I don't know why, I don't believe the figures. So somehow you need to convince me to believe in that you're actually already selling so much.
Okay, I understand that. So the gap is quite big and we're growing. So last year we had a 1 million euro in turnover, and this year we will double that figure. The reason why we believe it's possible is that we are actually going to scale through the OEMs. So they have their distribution power, they have the distribution is already there, but we have to activate them. So we are going to leverage on their sales force. The way you want to do it is actually to support them and to strengthen them via sort of a customer success story. So we are going to help them to sell. A proof point of that is the project we sold to the airport of Stansted. So they actually chose the IP-enabled solution, which was per toilet 400 euros more expensive than a regular one. The reason why I did it is that we actually have a positive ROI, so a value that we offer. And eventually you also want to go towards the data solution. So that has really opened the eyes of the partner, the manufacturer involved, that they say, okay, if we can sell this for a higher price, this is something we have to roll out. And now they're putting us internationally in all their showrooms. So that's why we believe we can scale and we can leverage on their power and their networks.
I'm unfortunately not a sector expert, but I think a sector expert might challenge you on the pricing. But they certainly have already.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Britta. Matthew?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the presentation. I would be interested in understanding where the 2 times better than a solar panel in terms of ROI is coming from.
So yes, okay. The way we calculate it is that in all the cases you
it's your calculation. It's your calculation. Yes.
Well, it's proven in the field. So we our clients have measured actually the water saving in their situation, and we have shown a water saving of up to 62% in Singapore, and 40 to 50% in Brussels airport. This is compared to other automated flushed toilets. The way we calculate the ROI then is actually to see, okay, what's actually the price difference we have, and how quickly do you get it back? What's your return on that? And then we see that we have a return or a payback period of less than 2 years, which is much quicker, or the double of the solar panels.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Matthew. Henrik?
Yeah, I think I'm lost a little bit from the beginning. How does the client earn money on this? There is a saving on water because the flushing of the toilet is adjusted, or how do they earn money by having this?
So they save water, and by saving water, they save also the cost of water. That's one thing. That's the point that we highlight the most here. But what we see also that in high traffic locations, but that's more difficult to calculate, is that they also can earn on operational efficiency, but that I didn't highlight in the presentation. Our toilets, as we can measure the content of a toilet, it also stops flushing when the toilet is being clogged. So there is no overflow, so there's less cleaning, and it's an optimization from an operational point of view. So that's a second argument, but it's not highlighted in the presentation.
But the basic saving is from selecting big, smaller flush, big or small flush, like there are several bottoms in some countries that's used.
Yeah, so the main saving is on the small and big flush, but also on the prevented flushes, because other automatic flush toilets, they flush on the presence of a person. So if you stand in front of it, you do your thing, you go away, you can flush up to 3 times. So of course you spill a lot of water because you only need 1 flush. So we only flush where the toilet's been used and the person is leaving the cubicle.
I think I was missing that a little bit in the beginning of both the pitch and the presentation, but I'm more technologist than money, like the rest of them are.
Okay.
Thank you.
Henrik, Britta? It will be good to receive some recommendations on what needs to be improved eventually. Britta?
Yeah, I thought you could probably do much better in helping us visually to understand your pitch better. So I think the branding can be improved. So in many regards, I would advise you to revisit some brand experts and give us a little bit more strength in your company name, brand name, logo, whatever, the illustration of your visuals, even the technology pictures. So you don't give much visual support in helping us understand you.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Manuela?
Well, I don't know if we have enough time, but anyway, maybe I miss it, but who are now your competitor or competitive solution instead of your...
Okay, the competitive solution where we position ourselves is other automated flush toilets. So that's the competitive solution from other players. They're often developed not by the OEMs themselves, but they buy it from other players, so that you can call our competitors. And we also have to fight against market dynamics, because the building and construction industry is quite conservative, and if they know a solution, they use that solution, even if it's suboptimal. So that's also a thing we have to compete with.
Yes, I think the same. Yes. Thank you.
Welcome.
All right. Any other comments or recommendations?
I like the pace of your voice, so that's something I think you're good at. I can follow your pace quite good.
Thank you, Britta. Anyone else? All right. Well, Jan, thank you very much for the presentation.
Thank you for all the feedback.
I hope it will be helpful for you for the preparation for the actual pitch.
Definitely.
In Aarhus. All right. Then I'm happy to continue with the next presenter, who is Jonathan Jackson from Previsico, sorry, Jonathan. Henrik, can you stop sharing your screen?
Hi there, everybody.
Hello, Jonathan.
Hi, Joanna. So yeah, to start off with the 1 minute pitch and then go into the sharing screen, yeah?
Yes, Jan, sorry, I said Henrik. Jan, can you stop sharing your screen? Can they hear us? All right, I will.
Shall I just do the 1 minute pitch and then hopefully Henrik will sort it out?
Okay, I think I fixed it. All right, good.
Okay, that's great.
Jonathan,
thanks a lot, everybody.
You can start whenever you're ready.
That's great,
And
thank you.
Welcome,
so, yeah, hi,
Winfried.
You ready?
Yep.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Jackson, CEO of Previsico, and we are dealing with the pluvial flood problem, which is the single biggest flood risk of all. It represents a cost to the world of around about $100 billion right now. And by 2050, it's due to grow to about $850 billion, so just under $1 trillion. And that's mainly due to climate change and urbanization. So that's the bad news. The good news is the governments around the world know how to handle this. It's by providing people with early warning systems, which enable people to take action and reduce flood losses. However, governments today are only providing flood warnings for main river and coastal flood, leaving a gap in pluvial flooding, which is where Previsico comes in. We have a unique, globally scalable service which addresses the pluvial flood warning gap. A great example is our clients in the construction industry who lost £4 million worth of equipment because they didn't have an early warning. They've now got the Previsico system in place. We've issued multiple warnings and they've not had any further losses since because they've had enough time to be able to move the equipment to safety. And we're now a key part of their water management strategy. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. Your time was 1 minute and 16 seconds.
Thank you very much. Slightly over.
Just a little bit. All right, coaches.
Joanna, I have a general consideration. Thank you, Jonathan. Please keep your camera still, because at the beginning of your pitch, your imagine was flowing, maybe for me. Joanna, was only for me or also for you?
I didn't see it though.
Okay, sorry, it was my connection anyway, because I see Jonathan doing boom, boom, boom. Okay.
No, I think I was seeing him quite well, but I don't know.
Okay, anyway.
All right. All right. Coaches, feedback.
Hey, Jonathan, hi. It's Winfried. I didn't catch what you're doing. I know you're doing something with regard to flood warning or preparation for floods. You mentioned it 3 times, but I just simply didn't understand it. Maybe because I'm sitting outside, but I didn't catch that. Otherwise, the pitch was okay for me. Yeah, was fine. I would still concentrate more on your solution, also in comparison to your peers, and less on the tremendous value of damages done through flooding, because that is probably every investor is aware of that's a major problem. But please, despite the fact that this is only a training session, but explain to me what is the specific angle of your flood protection system.
Okay.
Thank you, Winfried.
I also wanted to ask, my takeaway from the presentation was that you're focused on the market segment of construction companies. So if that was not your intention, I also missed something out.
Thank you, Britta. Anyone else? If not, Jonathan, we can continue with the 7-minute pitch when you give enough information.
That's great. Thank you.
You can share your screen.
Yeah, I'm just in the process of doing that. Thanks,
Jan. Yeah. Yeah, we see it. Not in full screen yet.
There we go.
Great, we see it now. Great. Once you're ready, you can start.
Thank you. So yeah, I'm Jonathan Jackson, CEO of Provisico, and we issue pluvial flood warnings to help people predict and prevent flood impacts. Pluvial flood problem is huge. Pluvial flooding, along with ordinary watercourse flooding, is a huge flood risk, close to 100 billion per annum, and by 2050, it's going to grow to close to $1 trillion per annum. Flood warnings enable people to prepare for flood and reduce loss by 50% or more. However, today, governments only warn for main river and coastal flood risks, but not for pluvial flood, which is why the UK government funded research to solve the problem. The result is Provisico, which fills the gap in government flood warnings. The Provisico team is made up of a blend of both entrepreneurial, commercial, and scientific excellence, along with a board with deep expertise in insurance, flood risk management, and also finance. Today, we have our first £1 million customer, and we also have 14 other clients with the potential to generate at least £1 million of revenues across the insurance, utilities, construction, government, and infrastructure sectors. We've been very fortunate to be working closely with very large insurers such as Munich Re and Liberty, looking at flood risk, and working with those organizations, we've been able to demonstrate how our flood warnings can help commercial organizations reduce flood losses by 70% or more. The way the service operates is that we have 2 components, a flood forecast and flood sensors. Our flood forecast is issued every 3 hours. We predict up to 48 hours ahead the risk of flooding at an individual property level or 25-meter resolution. And then we also provide our sensors at the most likely source of where flood will occur to provide those high level of confidence warnings to enable clients to take the significant actions that they need to mitigate flood loss, such as closing a production line or evacuating a building. So critically, we look at our approach as enabling people to prepare for flood by giving people 10, 15, 20 hours warning of flood, with the sensors then giving them 2-3 hours warning to take those very big decisions to help them prevent the flood impacts. And what we're seeing is we're getting a 10 times return on investment for organizations who are using our service and have their own flood resilience measures as well. Great example is for water management is in construction, where we're working with a range of construction companies. In this particular instance, we have one where we're working around their permanent and temporary drainage that they have on site. What we're doing is providing the sensors to look at critical assets such as silt busters and attenuation tanks. And they're using the forecast to also help manage the risk in the surrounding area, including residential properties. We're a business which is very focused around recurring revenues. So we have our Flood Intel platform, which consists of our flood forecast and the sensor product, and they're both working on an annual revenue model. We're currently selling via insurers because insurers are the ones who are actually picking up the flood losses at the moment. But we also sell direct to organizations too, as demonstrated earlier. We have multiple value-added services. A great example is work we're doing with in the water utilities sector around using AI to help predict where they need to make capital asset improvements. We know that we have potential long-term client values of up to £5 million per annum in the UK, and also in the US, we believe we can get up to $15 million per annum out of certain clients. Great example of how we work with our clients and generating those revenues is Northern Ireland Water, who is the water company for the whole of Northern Ireland. Back in 2022, they spent £50,000 with us. Last year, 200,000, and this year we're expecting to have an order for over £1 million. In terms of the market, we have a clear positioning against the competition. Firstly, we're able to operate on a global level, globally scalable, but we also have the key insights to enable the really accurate flood management at that local level, because we really understand the local conditions and can manage against those. We are a proven growth business. We managed to double our revenues year on year in 2023. We have our first £1 million customer. We have our first US customer, a very large global insurer. And we are forecasting now to hit 20 million of revenues in 5 years' time. And we're already protecting over 600,000 locations. In terms of funding, we're looking to do around up to 3 million, and we have support of existing investors. We'll use the funding to grow in both the UK and in the US markets. We'll also be adding in other flood products, such as main river, coastal, groundwater, and snowmelt. And we're also developing more and more premium services. So in terms of the utilities market, we see great opportunities for premium services in drainage performance and preventative actions. When it comes to insurance, we know that underwriters need better flood pricing. We can help them with loss exposure and also captives and their parametric insurance side. Thank you very much for your time. Any questions?
Great timing, 6 minutes. I didn't even manage to. It just plays the 1 minute left on your screen. All right, super, Jonathan. First question from Britta.
Can you maybe go back again to the page where you explain the technology, because I wanted to understand, is it predominantly software you have developed, or are there also hardware parts, sensor technology involved? How does the technology work?
Yes, it's a combination of a software, so flood modeling software. So we have a live hydrodynamic flood model where we're bringing in real-time weather data, and we process it through a flood model that then predicts out. So the flood model is made up of a whole range of different data sources, such as topography, hydrology, land use data, drainage data, sensor data, satellite data, etc. The flood model itself is based around really world-leading science. So one of the founders of the business is Professor Yu, who has over 4,000 citations on Google Scholar, and has been quoted in Nature magazine and in many academic publications as well. So that's the flood forecasting side, and then you say, it's a piece of hardware. The hardware itself isn't particularly unique. It's the data that's coming out of the hardware, which is key, which enables us to then feed that data back into the flood model. So we can both use the sensor to warn when water levels are getting high and also when it starts to flood. But also that data then is fed back into the flood model, because we can use that to calibrate the model and then enhance the flood prediction as well. Does that address the question?
Yes, and my suggestion would be to improve this bit on the slides, so give a bit of more context on the technology.
Okay, thank you.
However, the question would still be how much of that is proprietary knowledge. So how safe is that against copying?
It is know-how. So this is know-how which has been developed since 2001. And we have looked at patenting the flood modeling side. However, we believe that we would have to reveal too much of the know-how in the patent process to warrant us actually going down that route. So we've chosen to just protect it as know-how instead.
Thank you.
Thank you, Britta. Matthew? Matthew? Yes.
Yes, excuse me. I have troubles with the microphone. Yes, can you tell us a bit more about the typical terms of the contracts that are signed with customers? And the second point, can you tell us if how the pricing is related to the savings that is offered to the customer?
So yeah, the way that we are pricing in terms of contractually is for the forecast, it's a 3-year pricing agreement, and in terms of our sensors, it's a 5-year pricing agreement. Again, the sensors are on a rental, so it's a recurring income, and then in terms of the pricing for customers, we price them based upon the number of locations that a client has. So we forecast down to a 25-meter resolution. So our forecast pricing is very much a bulk pricing. So the more locations that you buy, the lower the price, which encourages people to buy volume from us. And then in terms of the sensors, those are priced on a per sensor basis. And we are finding that organizations will look at those high flood risk sites they have and place the sensors in those particular locations where they see the biggest flood risk, as well as using the forecast there. Does that answer the question?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew. Anyone else? Winfried?
Yeah, if there's nobody else, then let me just jump in here. And again, this is a training session. It's not a live simulation of the pitch to investors. Therefore, we don't expect precise answers. I just want to give you a couple of comments, Jonathan, to improve your presentation. And that applies also to all other presenters here probably today. Your presentation would gain a lot of attention with investors if you would be able to clearly express your business model and your product or service offering to your customers, and also explain who your customers are. And I just want to lay this out a little bit. You mentioned rightly insurance company, reinsurance companies as partners of yours. Later, you also mentioned that your big client in the US is an insurance company, so that's clearly one of the target groups for revenues, and that may be different services and more on the forecast and modeling side. And on the other side, you have your customers that you also mentioned, Northern Ireland Water, that spent 50,000 in 22, 200,000 in 23, and 1 million in 2024. Now coming back to sort of the origin of your business and business model, 80% of the time there is no risk of flooding probably. And where is a risk of flooding, that you probably have a lead time of maybe 3, 4, 5 days. And the question is, are you only aiming at a market where you have long-term sustainable clients that you cover for all the time with your forecast model and with your sensors? And please explain what your sensors are doing, what kind of sensors you put into the facilities of your customers. And yeah, that's pretty much it. But make it understandable for the investors. What is the product or the solution that you're selling and to whom, and how it works and what your business model is. Clearly, I see the revenues, the recurring revenues for your software and for your prediction service, plus the service fees for sensors and surveying with the sensors. That's very clear. But could you, for example, also move into Safari Telecom in Nairobi with the flooding disaster that they have in the moment, and what could the business model be there, and to whom?
Okay.
And again, you don't have to answer all these questions. It's just
actually, you chose a great example, Winifred, because we actually we do work in Kisumu in Kenya. So, but thank you for the feedback. That's very helpful.
Winfried, all right. Do we have any other feedback or recommendations from the other coaches? We have a little bit more time, meaning 2 minutes. Right. Jonathan, do you actually have questions for the coaches? Anything that you would like to know from them?
Well, I think actually listening to some other feedback is in terms of the presentation style. Any comments around presentation style, speed, articulation?
You're a very strong speaker, and in your introduction in the 1-minute pitch, I also liked your storytelling approach. So, I mean, you as a native speaker have very talented presentation skills when it comes to using the words. So I would like to also support what Winfried was saying. You need to put more flesh on the bones in terms of tangible arguments, in terms of tangible facts. With regard to the slide design, that to me looks a bit old school, but is okay-ish. So it's not overwhelming. With regard to the design of the app itself, I believe we cannot do much about it. So I think it would be nice to see some more screenshots of what the actual application looks like, because here it looks like graphic design. It doesn't look like a real software solution to me, how it's presented here on the page.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Britta.
If I add to that, Jonathan, well done, a good presentation style. I agree on the design for the presentation. That's a template that you have used. I would get rid of that and change it, get it more sort of current flavor. And one specific thing that also applies to everybody, to all the presentations, if you show a management chart, you have the name and you have the function, which is fine. But that doesn't tell anything about the sort of the competences or the experience that people have. And maybe you want to change that and put this into the front, in particular, if I see you have a 20-year history there. I know it's difficult because then it goes into specifics, but then it's better to sort of put the credentials in front of it and put faces and names next to it, instead of having just photographs and names and titles.
Yes. Thank you. Good point.
Thank you. Any other recommendations from Jonathan? For Jonathan? Good. In that case, Jonathan, thank you very much for the presentation.
Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you very much.
Right. And now we move to the last presenter for today, which is Gregory. Hello there, Gregor.
Hello.
Gregor, sorry, from Shape.
Greg is fine.
Okay, Greg, perfect. Welcome, Greg. As you know and as you've seen, we'll start with the elevator pitch now, and then we'll move to your 7-minute pitch. Once you're ready,
Sure.
you can start.
Well, hi everyone. My name is Greg, and I'm one of the co-founders of Shape. So, 15 billion liters of water. This is the equivalent of what we saved up to today. 15 billion liters of water, that's the equivalent of a swimming pool between Brussels and Barcelona of fresh distributed water. So what we do, we have an IoT-enabled SaaS software that tackles water leakages in buildings, thanks to detecting anomalies and discrepancies as soon as they arise, and helping large real estate owners to operate their buildings in a more efficient way. Today, we are already almost to €1 billion annual recurring revenue, and we're growing across Europe, mainly in France, Germany, and the UK. Today, we're also growing and we're expanding towards a larger coverage in Europe, developing new partnership. And that's also why we're raising some money. We're looking for €2 million, mainly to grow the commercial aspects of the company and have a bigger team. We're a team of 6 people today, and develop partnerships with utilities that are looking into developing a model around smart metering and offering new services to end customers to develop their efficiency in water usage.
Thank you, Greg. Your time was 1 minute and 18 seconds.
Okay.
All right, coaches. Manuela, you want to start?
Oh, yeah, well, I don't know if I miss it, but something more about your technology? Because you explained more about your market, your achievement, your everything, but something more about the technology.
That's a very good point. I skipped that part. So
yes, you skipped it. Okay.
Same for me, because this is a segment where we see both a lot of software solutions, software as a solution business models, but also hardware solutions. So I would advise, if you do the pitch very early in your pitch, tell the audience if you have a software solution or if you are hardware based.
Maybe I can add to that. Oh, wait a sec. Yeah, I'm on. Gregor, that is what I grasped from your 1 minute pitch. You started with water wastage, so it was clear you do something with water. Then the next thing that I grasped was you try to provide a solution to operate buildings more efficiently. That could be anything. That is not just water usage, but could be power usage and other things. Then I got that you are looking for 2 million to finance OPEX, and only at the very end I also got that you're providing smart metering for water usage, and that is probably in the heart of your service offering. So I would turn it around, and yes, we're wasting water. Everybody is aware of that. So we don't need the number, also not how big the swimming pool is, but we need the problem that you're solving. And clearly, it's controlled water usage, save on water. Fresh is good. That's very clear. That also indirectly saved money, and together with other things, make the buildings more efficiently. That's a clear commercial goal. But I would start with that one. And in the 1 minute, really very simple what you do, also what your clients, who your clients are, and then probably also what you're looking for, the 2 million, great. And OPEX financing, that's fine. That's it. Build operations, go to market. Maybe that would be interesting. You mentioned that as well. You have 1 million in revenues. That means you have a marketable product, which is great. That means, hey, intensify marketing activities or whatever it is. But I look forward to your presentation.
Okay, thank you.
So Greg, it's time for your 7-minute pitch now.
Okay, yeah, wonderful. Yeah, I didn't answer all these questions because I think it will also be interesting to cover that in the pitch itself. Let me share the right screen. Here, share. you see my presentation?
Yes, we see it well.
Yeah, so hello, I'm Gordon Dean. I'm one of the founders of Shape. We're a B Corp certified company, and we help manage the water in buildings in a more efficient way, thanks to AI-driven software. So in buildings, 20% of the water is lost through leakages and inefficiencies. And the problem is that 95% of these inefficiencies remain unnoticed or unreported for a very long time. Plus, this represents for more than 20% of the water bill, so meaning people are paying for that water without having good use of it. On top of that, we have water that is actually one of the most water damages, one of the most frequent water damages that happen in buildings. It has a real burden for insurance companies. And now we're also in a country, in a continent where ESG reporting becomes more and more important. So we are in a situation where companies have to report on their water usage. But today the market is moving towards more of this, like water reduction targets are clearly set as goals for different countries. There is an accelerated rollout of smart metering, so data is there. This is the moment. ESG reporting is definitely becoming standard. Leak detection is also included in building certification, so building owners have to follow these good practices. And we have an increase in water tariffs, so people are more and more incentivized to be efficient in their water usage. Moreover, this is a global market opportunity that is growing every year, like on average over 30% growing on a yearly basis. So this is in total for Europe and UK only 2 billion euro ARR opportunity in Europe. What does Shape do? Well, typically we need data to have any type of insights. So with Shape, we have 3 elements to our solution. First of all the water that flows through your building flows to the main water meter. And this is how we acquire data. We monitor the data at the entrance of the building where the water meter is located. With a single patented retrofit device, we're able to gather the data in a very precise way. We can also integrate with any type of existing digital metering solution. Once the solution is equipped and the building is equipped, we're able to disaggregate the flow happening or all the events that are happening in the building, detecting different types of usages, such as a toilet, a water softener, a heating system, or whatever it is. We'll detect it very precisely and identify what are different usages. When an abnormal usage is detected, an alert is sent immediately to the building manager so that he can tackle it. Not only we alert him, we tell him how much he's paying for this. And then we're providing benchmarks and reporting to help the building manager to basically understand what's happening in his real estate portfolio, whether he has some buildings that are repaired faster than others and things like that. One thing that I want to add here is that we also help real estate owners increase the value of the asset by providing them the certification opportunity, because when you certify a building, you can increase its value between 20 and 30%. Now we have 3 main channels that we focus on. First, we sell directly to large real estate owners, public and private. This could be municipalities, could be hospitals, universities, or retail, typically large brands, hotels, restaurants, or shops that have a whole real estate portfolio to manage. Second, we sell through partners. There could be maintenance building maintenance operators such as NG, Vinci, or energy management systems that already provide energy systems and monitoring for buildings that can add water on top of that. But the big scaling opportunity is towards working with utilities that can provide this at a large scale to all their customers. Typically, we already won a tender with Société Wallonie, which is the biggest utility in Wallonia, in Belgium, that is already equipping all their users with Shape technology. As of today, we reach 735,000 euro annual recurring revenue. With a 4 million euro strong ARR value for our pipeline, today we're growing at a good rate and very little churn. Our contracts average more than 5 years, and our customer lifetime value is of 43,000 euro. Yeah, with a team made of 6 people, we have different types of backgrounds. from hardware to software, and from business to finance. Today, myself and Zinedine, two co-founders, myself more focusing on general management, Zinedine experience in technical sales. We're looking for 2 million euro to grow and convert a pipeline and reinforce the marketing capabilities and sales capabilities across Europe, grow our partners, which will become our ambassadors, develop our the opportunity with utilities that could be really our scaling opportunity, and finally generate additional revenue streams with this partnership with utilities. With these 2 million, we'll be EBITDA positive in less than 18 months, and will grow up to 10 million euro in less than 5 years. Today, we save 13 billion liters of water, but with you, we can do even more. Think of new generations, and let's make a better and more resilient city for the future. Thank you.
Great timing. It was 6 minutes and 50 seconds.
Cool.
Awesome. All right, dear coaches. Who wants to start? Britta.
I always have something to say, you know. I was wondering why at all it is necessary to have this extra wireless data logger installed on the meter, and why is there no opportunity to get the data directly from the meter or from the service providers?
Because in Europe, actually less than 50% is equipped with digital metering. So it's we're not a hardware company, but we have developed a hardware as a means to an end. I mean, today data is not available, so we have that retrofit device that is easy to install. Plug it, no need to plumber, just no need to cut the pipe, just plug it on the water meter and you're done. So basically, that was the philosophy, to make it super scalable and able to be deployed at a very large scale.
Thank you.
Thank you, Britta. Who else? Winfried.
Yes, thank you, Greg. Very good presentation, very interesting. It's not that stylish, so you can do a little bit there to improve it, but it's fine.
What do you
the
mean
only
by
thing
stylish?
that
I mean the slides or the?
Yeah, it's also a bit old-fashioned, but the content is great. And just take out the one page where you have so much text. That I think that was just the second page, and that is boring anyway. And then people tend to read that and not listen to you. The message you get over, wonderful. That's no problem, and you have enough slides. Even with the 4 slides, yeah, the next slide P4 was great. Yeah, it showed clearly what is your business model. Spend the time on that slide. Wonderful. Go through there. Maybe you can do an animation, because you start on the left-hand side, then you can make it smaller, add the middle column, and then make it smaller and add the third column. So you have a natural flow, but it's a good slide. Next slide is also good. It's your customer. It's very clear what is the customer segmentation. Fantastic. Do the same thing. And I think next slide was also an interesting slide. I can't recall what it was. And then came the team. Team was good, yeah. And then the final slide, that's your story also with the 30 billion liters saved. That's sort of the wrap up. Oh no, the last slide, the P8, that was the ask that you have. Very good.
The ask.
Yeah, you need to have that. So even these 4 slides, that's all you need. Fantastic. Yeah? And presentation was clear, very good. Where you can add a little bit again is, what exactly is your software tool? How do you integrate artificial intelligence? Because you mentioned that. The retrofit is good. Yeah, that's a need for your business model. Fantastic. You solved that problem. Off we go. And last thing is, yes, installation. And can you really live with this one device and sensor, and how do you identify the different sort of usage or wastages of water. That's interesting, yeah, because there are more people in this field, and more smart metering companies going also after water wastage. So how do you compare to your peer? Maybe that's another slide that you could include.
Yeah, that's a question I get sometimes, is also like with the deployment of smart metering and the rolling out of smart metering, how will you become? And this is of course where I answer that this is also why for us hardware is just a means to an end. We will integrate with existing solution, and we are already, and this is also part of the exit strategy, already in talks with water metering companies to build the best water meter available on the market. So it's kind of a part of the discussion. Yeah, I agree. Maybe talking maybe a little bit about the competitors might be added.
Yes, and the last thing that probably somebody could mention is financials. What is your path? Where you mentioned the 1 million, but where could the journey go from 1 million to 3 to 5 to 10 to 20 to 30? What is it that your vision is? Yeah, but I don't mind. You are where you are. Yeah, but clearly, and the 2 million that you looking for OPEX funding, will this bring you to break even, to profitability, or will you have to come back and ask for more at a later stage? That's a critical question for investors.
Yes, that's a very good question. Well, on that, I mean, something that I should elaborate more is the opportunity to working with utilities. It's a long shot because there's not so innovative industry, so changing their mindset is something that is happening right now. That's why we need to be in the market right now. But indeed, the opportunity is so much bigger with them. But it's a bit of a bet, right? When will be the right timing and when this will really accelerate? I mean, I can make a statement, but it's more like a vision. This is where we can go, but today this is how far we can go in such small time frame.
But see, vision statement at the beginning is always important, and then comes the mission, and that's your story. Yeah, very clearly. And you have your product, you have your business model, and you got to build the business model, but you can move into other business models. Fantastic. But well done. Good presentation.
Thank you.
Matthew?
Yes, thank you for the presentation. The main thing that I have to mention is that for me, the beginning of the presentation, the description of the problem is quite a bit long, which is not something wrong for me, but it's for me too generic. And I think that you should be much more, or at least to become more precise, to introduce the solution you want to propose, because I think if you remain too generic, that's interesting, but you are covering things that people already know. So I think that you should be more specific than just mentioning that you are solving a large problem. So that's my main point. Be more precise.
Okay. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Thank you, Matthew. Anyone else?
Yes, perhaps one more comment. In fact, this comment is for all the speakers. As an investor, I think that for me, it is very important to understand why the founder that is speaking to me is working on that subject. What was his previous experience? Why did he decide to do that project, to join that team? And I think that's something that's missing in most of the pitches we had today. So I think it's very important for an investor to understand where the project is coming from. It is a common point for all the speakers, I would say.
Good point. It takes a bit of time in the team presentation, because sometimes it's a slide that you want to cover very quickly, but it's true that at least the person that is in front, at least what is your genuine reason why you're on stage?
Yes, and for all of you, I'm sure that it is a strong advantage, so use it.
Yeah.
All right. If we don't have more comments from the coaches, Greg, any comments from you to the coaches?
Well, some of the questions that I was wondering have been discussed already. Yeah, I mean, there was also, but that kind of, I have that vision, which is one thing, and then the forecast of getting to 10 million euro revenue, recurring revenue by the next 5 years. I mean, I want to show the potential, but I have that kind of, what I don't know is how fast will the market go. I mean, the past has proven that it is so slow market, even though the opportunities are there. I mean, we have won tenders and we keep developing. I want to understand, okay, how do I get the investor understand that this is there is part of uncertainty in this business, and that, but still I am ambitious. It's not that I'm not ambitious by saying we are only doing maybe times X in the next 5 years. I do see the 100 million opportunity. I want to convey that, but in a way that shows that we do the bet together.
Yes, Greg, but 10 million is too little. You will not attract any investor for 10 million. So you need to have a clear vision, yeah. But sort of the clear product is there where it is, and the product grows into much bigger solution. And that's the reason also you develop the dialogue with media manufacturer and with utilities and so on. And the vision, you got to give the vision. And the vision is, yeah, that's certainly 100 million plus business, yeah, in terms of sales and EBITDA, 10 million, 20 million, 30 million. You have a good margin business. So with 100 million, you have an EBIT margin of probably 50 million, 50%.
Mm-hmm.
But show that vision, because otherwise you're too small. Then your niche application, and then they will not invest or will not be even interested. You need to go for something big. Discuss it with your team, with your management team or founders team. And that's important, because that is also what you have to signal to investors and to the world.
Yeah, I understand. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was my main question. I think apart from that, yeah, I think just very grateful for the feedback. I think it was very on spot on. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Greg. And thank you to our coaches. It was a wonderful session today. And we'll be very much looking forward to seeing you in Aarhus. This is our last presentation for the day. So once again, thank you everyone for participating. And now I'd like to ask you to go back to the main room where my colleague Ina will explain you the next steps. And you need to fill in a short poll to let us know of your plans for the next steps part of the program. Thank you. Have an amazing day and see you very soon. You need to click on leave breakout room, not leave meeting when you go to leave room.
Okay. Thank you.
See you in the main room.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.